Hey everybody, we've got a little special presentation today. This is actually pre-recorded. It's not our live like we've been doing recently, but we got a special guest with us here today, and I'm gonna
You think I'm special?
No, you're not. But the person sitting next to you
I
is.
think I'm special.
So I'm gonna let Mike introduce this individual who we've talked about quite a bit on our podcast. And go ahead, Mike.
Well, as everybody knows, I'm the one that gets the big sports update. It's the Stars, it's Mavs, it's Forney, anything to do with sports, it's going to come from me. Well, you've heard me over the course of a year talking about us girls high school softball and my brother, the coach of Forney. Well, here's my brother. And they just came back. They played in the state championship game. Unfortunately, they lost 4-1, but they made it as the number 2 team in 6A D2. So
It's also important to state that this is their first year in 6A1, right?
yeah, because they went up to a different level class.
So you have bigger schools, more money they have in the school programs and things of that sort.
And they played in Austin for the state championship game, and it was a close game, but just came up short.
Well, let's talk about the softball season in and of itself, Pat. I mean, you at first going into the season, how did you feel, and how do you feel you've ended up?
Well, starting out, starting the season, I'm not going to lie. I mean, we had big expectations. I have 11 seniors on the team that have played, quite a few of them, about 4 or 5 of them have played since their freshman year. So they a lot of experience coming back from last year. And last year we made it to the 5A regional finals, which we were a game away from going to state there. So
what's the difference between the 5A, 6A?
I'm going to be honest with you. It's
bigger schools,
just bigger schools, more kids to it, but it doesn't
more
mean
money for the programs.
I can't say that. I mean, it just means they have more kids to choose from.
Gotcha.
But I can't say the competition's any better in 6A than 5A. I mean, it is a little bit in some areas, but bottom line is when you get more kids to choose from, 6A is going to be just
a bigger pool of players. Yeah. Obviously, can pull from the best. That's for sure. So how do you feel the season progressed along for you?
Well, we started out, last year, it was about like the season last year. We started out, tough preseason like we did last year. And we came out and, the kids started out well, and we were undefeated going into district. And all of a sudden, I'm just sitting there going, okay, here we go. And, we finally lost our first game in district, which kind of, makes you worry.
Well, coming out of the regular season, though, what was your actual how many win-loss?
Coming out of district, we went to some tough, like I said, we went to some tough tournaments, played quite a few teams that went on and played deep in the playoff. And like I said, the kids are resilient. They think they cannot lose, and they proved it.
Well, that's a good attitude, though.
Yeah, I think. You can't coach it.
Yeah, if you have it instilled you in your heart, and you want to go out there and you want to do your best, and you feel that you can win. And I've obviously been with the games, Michael, and you and I have been several times actually. You've been more than I have this season, and those girls just absolutely floor me, and the strength, their determination. Yeah. There's no way in hell that I could swing a bat that well.
Well, and 40 also has a big parent traveling crowd.
Yeah,
no matter where they
that's
play,
a whole other story in itself.
There's a big Forney crowd there.
That's for sure.
And matter of fact, I think in the state championship, I think there were more Forney people there than there were.
Yeah, I definitely would say that there was a. I think Kingwood, which was actually the team you played against, it was almost evenly split. I thought because they also had the top part as well. But just the fact of the matter is the support that they get from the families and the parents and I know the booster clubs and what have you is pretty amazing. There's no doubt about it. A lot of participation from the parents. Maybe a little bit too much sometimes, I think. But
so how many years have you coached?
9 years at Forney.
Well, no, but
overall.
20 years.
Okay, let's go back up here.
And then how many times have you made the playoffs?
Every year except the very first year I coached.
Yeah, but let's kind of back up and talk about your career, because you started in softball coaching later, right?
Yes. I didn't start. That wasn't my first thing to just jump in and coach. I went.
You had a career shift.
Yeah, I wanted to do the other stuff before that, and then finally my daughter started playing Brittany, and then Heather did, and
You actually coached them both, right?
yes, and so all of a sudden I started doing select coaching, and coaching was in my blood. I mean, it was just I wished I would have figured it out earlier, but I didn't, So
I think though the
So-
time period that you've actually
So how
made
old?
up for it,
So
though.
how
Yes.
so how old were you when you first coached your first season?
high school,
Yeah,
shoot, man, I don't know, too old to think of all that.
but you were
My
in like your
first
late
year was
30s,
like-
weren't you?
No, I was in my 40s.
And just as a comparison, folks, I mean,
40s?
the coach that he is up against, strong coach, she went to UCLA, and she's been coaching for 10 years, but she went into coaching straight after college. So she's in her, kind of early 30s. So, I mean,
So
there's
it's
a big
like
difference.
most coaches would start in their 20s.
Yeah.
And he started in his either late 30s, early 40s. And you said you made the playoffs every year but your first season, but you still had a winning record then.
Yeah.
And so on the all-time winning list, whereabouts are you in this? In the state of Texas?
And this is
I'm in
important,
the-
and this
right.
is important because that's where the reason I asked when he started into this.
I'm at right around the top 10. Right around the top 10.
In state, folks. And we are talking about wins here.
Yes.
And you're just like a handful of games short of 600.
Yes.
And the number one person on that list, I think she's been coaching 30, 40 years now.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, that tells you the difference here in regards to he's a winning coach.
And if you just coach 2 more years, you could be in the top 5.
Possibly.
And how many wins is that, Mike?
I don't know. It's like maybe I think he needs like another 50 or
It
60.
would be
3
if I
years,
coached
you-
a couple more years and we had the success we've had, I'd be around 650.
You said you had, what, 11 or 12 seniors? What's
11.
the total roster typically? How many people you usually have?
I usually try to keep about 15, and we kept 20 this year.
So with these seniors going off into colleges and things of this sort, does that deplete your next coming season?
It will be down. I mean, but we still have a good core coming back, even though we've lost a bunch. Because not all the seniors started, of course,
Right.
but they contributed heavily.
Yeah.
I mean, they may not think they have, but they came
Oh,
in
just
and
the
did some
morale
good things.
alone and
Yeah.
just the camaraderie that I was seeing amongst the girls was incredible, to be honest with you. They had their own little kind of nuances, and I think their superstitions and things of that sort, which is kind of interesting that you see typically in professional football or basketball or baseball, all that all the time. So interesting.
And just going back on the record, because I know
First of all, folks,
said
he
it.
harps on this all the time.
Well, because
Constantly.
it's like my dad would be doing the same thing if he was here, and he knows that.
Yeah.
So it's like I got to take that mantle or whatever. But my brother even said this: is you look at anybody that's in the top 20 on all-time wins, he's got the highest winning percentage.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
the thing
he's
I can hold my hat on.
he's over 80% on winning percentage.
81.
81%. See, he said 81.
And I mean that tells you. I mean, I'm not gonna. I'll sit here and say I've been very fortunate to have a lot of great cats.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in two great programs. And I mean, if you're not, I mean,
But I'm also going to cut you off there because that's fine and dandy. But if a coach cannot pick the right talent and put them in the right places and coach in the right way, then it's useless.
well,
It's a both. It really
the one
is.
thing I can always say I was proud of. I mean, I have never bowed down to competition. I mean, when I was in Hallsville, out in East Texas, we always came to Dallas, played in tough tournaments, and they put us against some of the tough around. Yes, did we get our butts kicked at the beginning? Yes, we did. I mean, we'd come back from like the Allen tournament. We would be 0-2-2, which that's 0 wins, 2 losses, and 2 ties. And then all of a sudden, it took about 3 or 4 years. And now all of a sudden, when we go, we're either undefeated or we lose 1. So, Hallsville, they had to learn to be able to compete. And, I can hold my hat on and say, hey, I didn't shy away. So seeing the record that we've produced over the years, I mean, it's not like I'm going and playing a team that I beat 22-0 all
Right.
the time.
And how long has Forney been a high school?
Over 100 years.
So Forney's been,
But never had a
but
playoff thing
well,
before
let me
that, right?
finish it. But Forney's been a high school for over 100 years, and in that entire 100 years, in all the sports in Forney, how many times have they won the state? Any sport, anything? How many times has
All the
Forney won
programs, all the
state
programs.
state title?
Just one.
And
Just
that's
what was that?
softball.
We were us. When I
And that was in
first-
2018,
when I
wasn't it?
first came to Forney, and we were making a big run the first year I came. The coordinators, they've been to the state finals in a lot of sports. Baseball and softball are by far the two most successful programs at Forney High School or in Forney ISD. Baseball's been so close. I think they've been to the finals 2 or 3 times. Football, back in the days when they were 3A, they made it to the state final. And Coach Rush, the coordinator at that time, he told me, he said, "Pat, we're just cursed. We have a curse." And I looked at him, I said, "I don't believe in curses, because that's why I came here." And I said, "We're fixing to break that curse." And, fortunately enough, we did.
And it was the second season that you did that?
Yes.
Yeah.
We made it to the regional finals the first year. That year when I got here, we had an incredible class of freshmen. We went to the regional finals the first year I was here and actually won the first game in the regional finals and lost the next 2. But we had some tragedy there too.
Yes, you did.
And but the next year we came back, won it all. The next year we came
Because
back.
that year you started out like 5-5,
Yeah.
and then you won the next 25 games
Yeah.
straight, and that was all the way to the state title.
We started off pretty rough and then got going.
And let's kind of touch a little bit about Emily and the tragedy that y'all experienced. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, it was a sad thing. First year I was here, we had two players, Emily and Madison Galliano, and I mean, they were the very first people that came first day of school. They came up to my office and in Michelle's office. We were sitting there, and they came up and introduced themselves. Real polite, great kids.
Twins, right?
Yes. And all of a sudden we're sitting here going, I mean, for any kid, that just shows you how special those kids
Yeah.
were. And all of a sudden, so as the season,
Folks, sorry about the interruption there real quick. We're actually at our pub, our favorite pub that we've always talked about. So we're actually doing the interview over here, and we're getting our second rounds of cocktails. So forgive us there.
Important.
It was definitely important.
So then I brought her up halfway through the season when we got through district, and she played in a game, and it was funny because I put her in one of the games. I put her in center field, I think, and all of a sudden she came running in to catch the ball. Well, it tipped off her glove and hit her right in the forehead, and I mean made lace marks in her forehead.
Ouch.
Well, we ended up going, I think that may have been the last district ball game, and then we had the playoffs. Well, we start the playoffs. We're about 4 rounds. We're 3 rounds deep that we won, and we're fixing to play our 4th. Well, the kids have team dinners that we don't go to. I just let that's their deal, and all of a sudden at the team dinner, they had an unfortunate thing where Emily, they were all messing around and doing some stupid stuff, and accidentally jumped in this car. She happened to fall out of the car, and they ran over, and unfortunately she passed away, and it was on the eve of playing in the regional semifinals, and just a tragedy to no end, and it was a night that I'll never forget, and hope it never happens again. And it always seems to happen to the greatest families in the world.
And the reason I kind of wanted to talk about, not only because obviously what you guys have done and honoring her, but to kind of like take that whole jinx or we're cursed thing about it, because there was definitely some things that happened that year that really proved that Emily was still with you.
In butterflies.
Yeah.
Yeah, her number was number 6. The next series we played, of course, we didn't play the next day, but we had to find out. I didn't even know if we'd play. I didn't know if the kids wanted to. But they decided, hey, and even the parents, the dad said, you are playing. Emily's dad came and told us, y'all are playing. And Madison stayed with us. through the whole playoffs by our side, and it was the first game we lost 2-0. It was weird because there was pink in the sky through the clouds and stuff, and it was just for the first time. I'll be honest, for the first time in my life, I'm a coach. I want to win at no cost. At this point, winning was not anything on my mind. It was protecting these kids. So we lost that one. We had to come back and play the next day on Saturday. I think it was Friday, Saturday. I don't know. And all of a sudden, we ended up winning the game 7-5. And we forced a game three. But everybody's looking at it. It was 7-5. 6 was in the middle of 7-5. And the community came out. We had such a big crowd. We had media all over us. And then all of a sudden, we had one of the kids came up and hit a big time home run, and in the third game, and she happened to be the one that was driving the car that day. And I'll be honest with you, when she hit it, I said, "There's no way it's going over." But I'm waiting to see where it hits the fence and to try to tell her where to go. And I'll be honest with you, it kept going. I've told this story over. It kept going, and only Emily could have lifted it out of there. And there was just so many weird things. I mean, there was a red bird. The day after she passed away, we went over to their parents, the house, and all of a sudden, this red bird, like a cardinal, was running around the bushes and just all over the place. And I just thought, wow, it's interesting. Nice bird right there. And it come to pass later, the parents told me, Mom and Dad told me, that there's only one way into their neighborhood and one way out. Mm-hmm. And she told me, without me really even saying anything to her about that red bird, all of a sudden they backed out of the parking lot. This red bird went right next to her window. They were driving out of the neighborhood. That bird never moved from her window. And when it got right to the exit to go out, it went straight up. And I guess went straight back home.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, I mean, just so many weird things happened. There were so many, and then the next year we dedicated the season to her. And, so many things. I mean, we were 33-6 at the end of the season. And, when we won the semifinal, everybody was already looking going. They were already looking. They knew what the record would be if we won state. So they knew we were going to win state because they knew it's 2 6s going on.
Yep.
We played in the championship. In the championship, we had 3 double plays. You don't ever see that in the championship. At 6 outs.
No, especially when the other team is as good as you.
Yeah, but that's 6 outs right there. And her buddy, Savannah DeRoche, it shows on the video that right before she put us in the lead in the top of the 7th, I think it was, there's a butterfly flying close behind her, and then she got the hit. So, there's a lot more. There's just, you can't make this stuff up.
How was the game won, though?
Game 1.
How was the game won?
What was the last out?
That sealed the deal.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was going to get to that, I think. And then the last out of the game. They made a run at us. They had a chance to come back and tie us up in a way because they had bases loaded, no out. And all of a sudden they hit it back at Savannah. Savannah threw it immediately to third. We got double play. Now we got 2 outs, and then one of their best hitters, a slapper, she slapped it down the line at UT. And here came our left fielder, still the same one, the one that happened to be driving, and she caught it on top of the fence going over. Incredible catch.
Now there's some video out there, folks, that if you haven't seen it, you really need to see it.
Because on that video, ESPN always has their top 10 plays of the day.
Nationally. Not just Texas.
And by the time we got home after we won, we got home right in time. We saw the top 10, and it came number two. And the one that won it was so bad, we should have been number 1. But if they would have known the story about it, we would have been number 1.
Yeah. And it won the state title.
I mean, what a way to win for her and the family, really.
And
for
I know
what they've
that
been through.
throughout the last couple of years, you've continued to, remember her and have a scholarships in her name, and which I think is fantastic.
We have a play for him night. This year we did unbelievable. I mean, we've given the most. We gave $12,000 to him by doing raffles and stuff like that.
What
Our
does the
community,
Play for Him Foundation do?
They give scholarships to deserving seniors, and if you're a softball player around us, you're going to get one. So I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
And,
I think it's exciting.
But I mean, it's just
refreshing.
not a few. I mean, they'll give like 20 to 30 scholarships, maybe $1,000 each.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the most giving people I've ever met. And like I said, I mean,
And this foundation was set up by the family, right?
yes.
But
And
then,
they were there.
But the community.
They were there in Austin for your game.
Oh
today.
yes, I saw them.
Yeah.
I mean, we do. As long as I'm there, play for him will always be there. And my assistant coach, probably when I'm gone, she'll be there. And man, she's bought into it so big. But that's what it is. The kids need to understand. There's more to softball.
Yeah.
There's more to softball.
Oh, it's a family.
Yeah.
It really, truly is. I mean, some of the conversations that you've had with us, and you talk really in detail about the kids and, some of the things they've gone through, some of the things they're dealing with. I mean, it's just, you're a father figure to them in a way.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. And when it did happen, I mean, and we won, and we came back and dedicated and won it. The news media was all over it and that type of stuff. Everybody was going, this is a made-for-movie
It is.
thing.
Oh,
You should write
it
something.
still is. It still is.
I'll tell you one thing. I'd love to sit down, and I wish somebody would take it and run, because it could be a great, it
So any streaming
anybody that
networks
seriously,
out there,
yeah.
this is a one of those
Somebody
do
that
good
can
feel
listen to
movies.
a story and write a
Yeah.
screenplay.
It's a do good feel movie that really needs to be told.
And
It needs
there's
to
a
be on
lot.
big screen.
There's a lot more people that know more, but the weird things that happen, I mean, you just can't. I mean,
Nobody would believe it's all true.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh, but here's another one. This year, we're going to the regional. No, we're going to the state semifinals, and we're sitting. I'm talking to the kids the day before, or no, the week before, trying to tell them a game plan for this team coming up. Here came. I mean, I'm kind of at home plate. I'm facing towards the outfield. Here comes a red bird flying. I mean, streaky. And I mean, coming at a fast pace. Stops it from the out center field, comes in, stops. And man, it caught my eye because, a red bird. And then stopped at second and took off back out.
Well,
and
and
I
I-
even told the kid.
I
said,
know
"Oh my God."
the third game, which you had to win, obviously against Denton Geyer.
Yeah.
I wasn't fully aware of it. That was one of the games that I went to. I wasn't fully aware about the whole butterfly thing. And you guys started talking about, did we see a butterfly? I was like, I saw a butterfly.
A lot of
Literally, I saw the butterfly,
Well, to go on what he's saying, the game was tied. It went back and forth, and Kaylee Slade is one of our really good players. She's our pitcher, and kind of like Savannah DeRoche. And she was pitching away. All of a sudden, she came up, and everybody saw the butterfly, and she hit a shot out to left field, and for whatever reason, the girl misplayed it.
Yeah.
Skipped all the way to the fence, and she did a 3-run in the park home run.
Yeah.
And man, like I said, you can't make it up. You
Yeah.
can't make it up. And
And I'm not-
It's so exciting. I mean, it's so cool to hear.
And I'm not a strong believer in that type of stuff, but I mean, folks, based upon what I've heard, I have to believe. I really do, because there's only a few coincidences that can happen. There's a boatload of coincidences here. I also noticed that game, down after it, there was a gaggle of young ladies. Were they former players of yours?
Yes.
And there's like 5 or 6 of them there.
Yes.
And it
You're talking
just
about for the
It was in
state
2018.
no, this
in Duncanville?
in Duncanville.
That was my old state
Yeah.
team. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I was just amazed because I had a feeling they were from, a couple of years previous, which they're well past college now. They're starting their lives in careers and families and things of that sort, and yet they're still out there supporting you. Folks, my point being is like an incredible coach, obviously. Yeah, he's got little quirks and things of that sort that we all love him for. But I mean, bottom line, it's definitely been a great season for him. It's been a great career, I think, for where you really look at it. I mean, 4 times the state, 1 solid win. And after this game on Saturday, I saw the emotion of the girls. I mean, and it was kind of interesting because I knew they had some errors and things of that sort, but they really had wanted. I don't think just to win it for themselves, but win it for you. No?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't look at it that way.
Well, of course you don't. You'll be conceited.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I think, they know how passionate I bring to the game. I mean, now granted, I've coached a little different now than I used to coach, getting older and stuff. But man, all I ever tell our kids, man, play hard, finish till the end, and I can't ask for anything. I mean, they did what they needed to do. It just, like I said, it just wasn't our day. I mean, the ball didn't fall the way we wanted it to, but dang, at the end, man, I mean, what an incredible career for those seniors. I mean,
absolutely, and they should be proud.
They left as one of the best
in the state
class we've ever had
in the state. I mean, and I've also watched. Again, I'm not somebody who's really in tune to how coaching happens, but I've been keen to watch not just yourself but also your competitors when you're out there, and I notice how you interact individually differently with each of your players.
Yeah,
you know their personality, you know their strengths, and that's amazing because I mean that's obviously
well, it proves that everything having over an 81% winning percentage.
No
over
doubt.
20 years.
Yeah, so, but I am so glad we've been able to finally sit you down in front of the camera. I mean, it's difficult because your schedule.
Going, who in the hell are y'all talking?
Yeah,
about?
With your schedule.
Our fans have heard about you all.
100%.
Right.
But now we've got the famous person right in front of us, and coming off a phenomenal season, taking his girls to state, and we're excited for this. And we actually had a conversation with the father of the coach who won the actual state before and after the game. And as we were walking out, Mike and I, we wanted to thank him. Great game. His fantastic game. He goes, next year it's like rematch. So hopefully we can see that again.
We'd love it.
Yeah. So Pat, thanks for spending some time with us and having this interview. I know you're actually going off for some well-needed rest. R&R.
But then where are you going in a couple of weeks?
Well, I'll be honest with you. When you do a long playoff run, people don't understand it. You are mentally each week. People don't understand. The minute you win one series, you have to get on the horn that day, that night, for 3 or 4 days. You're sitting here. We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this. There's so much behind the scenes that people don't see.
Well,
and then get your team ready. Now you're going through a pressure situation again. When you finally get to the end like this, it's just like, I haven't crashed yet.
You're a big relief.
But you're just going, and you have no energy.
What I'm amazed about it is, I understand professional teams do this. They have team members who are focusing on each individual player out there. You don't have that roster of people who can manage that.
No.
It's you and your assistant coaches, and that's it. Knowing exactly each of those players' strengths on the opposite side. And it's just phenomenal that you have to do that and get where you are. So, I mean,
but where I was setting this up,
where
are you going to be in 2 weeks?
Well, first of all, he's going to Colorado.
I didn't ask that.
That's important too.
Okay. Where are you going to be in 2 weeks?
I'm excited to be in Aruba.
Rick, where are you going to be in 2 weeks?
I think I'm going to be in Aruba.
And it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks from today.
I'm going to be in Aruba. Now that we can know how to do this stuff and record it or do live,
we can do live ones from record. We may actually have a group of 10 people in front of us.
Do some in Aruba. And we can have different people on while
we can have our vacation game.
Yes.
Be interviewed.
And this is the biggest one that I've been a participant of. It's 10 individuals who are going. A couple of people are coming a little bit later in the game, but
11 total.
11 now. Yeah. So I mean, and it's great to have that bunch of group of people and friends who actually like each other and can actually deal with each other. So it's pretty awesome. So again, Pat, thanks for spending the time with us. I know you're heading to the airport here shortly. And congratulations on what I think was a phenomenal season.
Oh, it was.
Thanks everybody for joining us for this kind of like impromptu from Buddy's Banter. I'm Rick.
I'm Michael.
And that's Pat. See you later.